and welcome to ECCB Connects. We continue our conversation this week with CEO of the Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee Corporation, Carmen Gomez-Trigg, as she answers some of the frequently asked questions about the ECPCGC's loan guarantee program. Stay connected with us. We'll share more with you after the break.
The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is rolling out Dcash, the next step in the evolution of the EC dollar. Use Dcash to send and receive money to and from friends and family. Make payments directly from your smart device. Make payments from wherever you are. Download the app from the Google Play or Apple Store and sign up, or visit dcashec.com for more information. The future of the EC dollar is digital. Let's make history together.
Carmen, welcome back again to ECCB Connects.
Thank you so much, Karina. Great to be here again.
Now, we've been learning quite a lot about the Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee Corporation, how it's facilitating funding, access to funding for small business owners across the region. Let's get into it first by talking about which types of businesses qualify for these loan guarantees.
The types of businesses that qualify, we're just going to do a recap on the types of businesses that qualify. So basically, any small business, when I say small business, I'll expand on that. You must be registered. You must have an annual revenue of no more than 2 million EC dollars. So that fits a particular niche of businesses that we want to deal with. The number of employees must be less than 50 permanent. The borrower must have some equity, 10 to 25% equity in the project for which the loan is being sought. The borrower must provide collateral of 20 to 25% to the financial institution, and the business may be for profit or not for profit. So churches and so on are not excluded. There is no limitation on the type of business. So we're looking at the manufacturing sector, the retail sector, the agricultural sector. There's no limitation on the type of business as long as there's no danger presented to the environment. And we'll be guided by this in our environmental and social consultant who would work with us on the World Bank exclusion list. All the financial institutions have already been trained in this particular aspect of the program. The age of the business can range from 3 months and up, depending on the guarantee being sought, and the business must have all the national permits that are required.
So Carmen, once these requirements are met, the business owner finds him or herself in a position where they qualify to apply. Take us through the process from start to finish of the application.
So the application actually starts, or the process really starts when the entrepreneur approaches the bank, the credit union, or the development bank for a business loan. So you speak to your officer, and they will go through with you the evidence that you are providing of your business income, your expenses, and you also need to tell the loans officer why the funds are needed. The officer will do an assessment, and if the project is sound, you have the amount that is required, you've put some money into the project, the officer would ask you to show what is your contribution. They would want to look and see what you've put into it, look at it and determine what the value of that input is, and they will determine whether the amount that you're seeking is sufficient to do what you say you want to do. Now, once you are asking for enough money to do that project, you would look and see what is the collateral or security you have available to pledge to the bank. Because to get a loan, you must have some kind of collateral. So they're going to look at that and see whether it's enough. If it is not enough and the project is sound, then and you can repay the loan, then the bank would come to ECPCGC, and we would look at the loan again, discuss with the banker what is required, what you have, what you do not have, what you need, and so on. And if everything is in order, we would approve that guarantee.
So to recap, the business owner approaches the bank, goes through the application process, and then the bank in turn liaises with the ECPCGC to determine if the applicant can receive the guarantee.
That's correct. Very correct.
Now you spoke about the need for the business owner to have some collateral, and that is key, so you can see that they have some skin in the game. Can a guarantor serve as a form of collateral for this applicant?
Certainly, we do accept guarantors. The guarantor would have to be screened by the bank to which the borrower is going, and they would have to provide a statement of affairs during the application process. All of this will go through the normal approval process of the institution. But yes, guarantors are definitely acceptable.
Now tell us, what is the maximum loan amount that a business owner can qualify for? And then how long typically is the maximum time given for repayment?
Okay, so the maximum loan amount is $300,000 per borrower. Now, this can be broken down into more than one loan. Let us assume that you come for one loan for $100,000 to do some inventory, and then you can come back for another loan of $100,000, maybe to expand your area, so that you can do the loans and tranches, but it must be no more than 300,000. So we would guarantee up to 75 or 80% of that $300,000. So our guarantee would go from $225,000 and up, right? But there is a ceiling. So you'll be able to qualify for no more than 300,000 EC dollars to get guarantees from us. So that's the maximum. In terms of the timing, we have a limit of 10 years on the guarantees that we offer. In the case of the working capital guarantee, we have reduced that time limit to 5 years, because working capital is mainly for turning over inventory and stock and so on. So you would have to turn over that amount within the space of 5 years. So we have a 5-year window for that one. For the classic guarantee and for the startup loan, we have a maximum of 10 years.
Is there a penalty if a business owner is able to settle the obligation ahead of time?
No, there is no penalty for that whatsoever. We would work. In fact, we are glad that some people are interested in repaying their loan early, and we can handle that. There's no penalty whatsoever.
So, Carmen, of course, as you said, you are glad. Any bank would be glad when their borrower comes back and honors the obligation ahead of time. It's a signal that things are moving in the right direction for the business.
Yes.
But then there's also the flip side, where sometimes business owners experience challenges in honoring the obligations. And especially now in the COVID-19 environment, things are very volatile. The situation is changing. What would happen in a situation where the borrower is experiencing difficulty with honoring payment as planned?
The financial institution would alert us to the fact that this is taking place, and we would work with them to see if some restructuring can take place. So there are a host of different solutions that we would look at. One, if we could restructure. If that is not a possibility, we would look to see if the borrower can pay just interest only on the principal for some time being. We'd also look at another solution, which means that maybe you can say, let us hold on all repayment for a couple months and continue to monitor that situation. If all of those prescriptions fail, then and the bank has to call in the loan, that's where we come in and we pay the guarantee to the bank. But there are different conditions to be met before we pay the guarantee. So the bank has to satisfy ECPCGC that the client has used the funds for the purpose for which they were borrowed. So if a client gets funds for $100,000 to put an addition to his shop, and he goes and he buys a car with that money, and the bank does not know of that, then we would not be able to pay that guarantee, because the client has not used the funds for which it was intended. So those are the checks and balances that we have in place with the bankers to ensure that the funds that we guarantee are properly used before we pay out any claims on the guarantees.
Another question from a small business owner standpoint would be about, in terms of repayment, how much interest would I be in for? Because that, in fact, impacts what the repayment is on a monthly basis. Who determines the interest rate, and actually, how is the interest rate determined?
Small business loans are more risky. They need more supervision. They need more administration than larger commercial loans. Therefore, there's a greater strain on the bank to be able to supervise this loan. So the interest rates is going to be determined by the bank. However, we have a broad panoramic view of all the ECCU institutions, and we kind of know, what kind of band a particular loan would fall in. So we would look at the restaurant sector and see what band of interest are charged across the region for that particular loan. So we would do some comparison. And if we find that the interest rate is too high, given what we are seeing across the region, we would talk to the bank about it. But essentially, the bank is the one that has to price the facility according to the risks that they perceive.
So the financial institution is key in monitoring these developments. And I think what you're saying basically is that the business owner has to be in very regular communication about, what's happening with the business and ensure that they are meeting the requirements in the agreement.
Definitely. We have always pushed the fact that the business person must develop a relationship with his or her banking officer. And indeed, we could point of some success stories that have come about with business people in the region where they have brokered this relationship with their banker who was able to put them on the right track. And, the advice helped them grow their businesses and so on. So I know that in talking to the bankers, we have come across such success stories.
And Carmen, as we wrap up, we know that the ECPCGC operates mainly in the independent ECCB member countries. Mm-hmm. But for the benefit of those business owners who are now excited about the possibility of getting this guarantee if they're seeking to get funding, tell us which are the participation financial institutions that they can approach to start this process going.
Okay, so I'm excited too because for the month of June, we've signed on quite a number of financial institutions. So as it stands, in Antigua, we have ECAB and we have ACB Caribbean. In Dominica, we have National Bank of Dominica and Republic Bank of Dominica. In Grenada, that's quite a busy place. In Grenada, we have Republic Bank Grenada, Grenada Co-op Bank, Grenada Development Bank, and Antigua, Grenada. So that's it for Grenada. There's a lot in Grenada, a lot going on in Grenada. And we actually have one credit union in Grenada that's looking to sign up as well. So Grenada is a busy place, guys. In St. Kitts, we now have a scanner of St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla National Bank. And we also have Republic in St. Kitts. In St. Lucia, another busy destination, we have Bank of St. Lucia, First National Bank of St. Lucia Development Bank, and Republic St. Lucia. And in St. Vincent, which was a little bit of an outlier, we can now say, hooray, we have two banks in St. Vincent. We have Republic St. Vincent, and we also have Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So I think I've called all 16, but that's it. So we have 16 participating lenders that the individual can go. So he or she has his choice of lenders in each island, which is where we want it to be.
Yes, and it's a good spread because I heard in there that they're not only regular commercial banks, but we have credit union and a development bank. So there are options for them to approach these businesses.
Yes.
Again. Carmen, thank you again for sharing this information with us, enlightening us how small business owners can go about getting funding to help with their operations, keeping it on float and growing their business to the Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee Corporation.
Thank you so much, Karina. Looking forward to our next meeting.
Indeed. We've come to the end of another episode of ECCB Connects. For more information about the ECPCGC's Loan Guarantee Program, be sure to visit their website, www.ecpcgc.org. Thanks for watching, and join us next week for another program when we share with you who we are, what we do, and how we serve you.